Hello, everyone, and welcome to another We Are One, You Are Two production. My name is Robert Fanzo. Today I'm going to be talking about Persona 5, Episode 1, I Am Thou, Thou Art I, and this is my reaction and breakdown. Today I'm going to briefly cover that first episode, talk a little bit about what I thought of it, and what I'm curious to see about the series going forward as a Persona 5 fan. This is being filmed on Monday, April 9th, 2 days after the airing of the show on Japanese television. Of course, I watched it on Crunchyroll this afternoon, and so I'm going to break down a little bit what this episode entailed, what I thought about it, and try to do this each week for you, at least 1 to 2 days after they air. So if you enjoy this one, let me know in the comments below. Feel free to stop by my Patreon at patreon.com as well, and drop us a line there too. So first and foremost, I will tell you I do watch a little bit of anime, but I am no means proficient in the genre or the jargon or any of that, right? I have a background in literature which spills over into my analysis of film, TV, and of course, video games. Being that I do a podcast every week on video games, I'm going to address the Persona 5 animation series from my perspective of someone who has played Persona 4 for about 60 hours and Persona 5 for about 100 hours, 110 I believe at the moment. And so I plan on finishing the game hopefully anyway, before the anime catches up, which leads me to my first point, and that is that the anime, very much within the same art style, of course. I felt like I was watching a lot of the cutscenes from the very first half hour, with just a little bit of variance. Now, mind you, I, of course, played that first half hour of the game well over a year ago, but if you lay them side by side, you will see some, but not much different. The biggest difference in the first episode is the obvious removal of player agency. Ren Amamiya, as we learn his name is in the jail cell scene, of course I butchered that, I'm sure, is worse for wear after being caught in the Phantom Thieves casino heist. And we are then treated to the same flashback when he arrives at Sakura's care. Quick note on his name is, of course, different in the manga as well. You may know that if you follow that, whereas Akira Kurusu. Beyond the name change, this marks another similarity, as we learn in the cell, in the flashback that appears to be only 6 months earlier when we arrived, putting us at a November to April date for these experiences. This is, of course, the same date over which the game takes place. You arrive in April, you'll have to November, possibly December, depending on the ending. And during these flashbacks, many of the cutscenes, Persona 5s will be delighted to know that the same soundtrack is in place, that many of the same details are in place, and that for me, well, that's an exciting thing to watch, as we get to see many of the elements of the game and how they're handled in an anime form. Again, speaking from my limited experience with the game and anime tie-in, I can tell you that those who watch very little anime or are simply looking for more Persona will probably be very pleased. This leads me to some of my smaller reflections. There are moments such as when Ren is in the principal's office that I simply do not recall, that I think are nice nods of what is to come later. We see, for example, Kawakami drop a flyer from her maid job, of an advertisement, only to quickly scoop it up when she is giving Ren his class assignment. Now, it's been over a year since I played. I don't remember that, and so maybe, just maybe, that did happen, and I'm just fuzzy, but I thought it was a nice touch, something that a year later, 110 hours later, reminds me of how that relationship develops over time. At the same time, we too are treated to seeing a bit more opportunity how to see dialogue with Ren will play out. Although the series so far cleverly leaves him largely absent of a voice, we're reminding us that we are still very much passively a part of him at this time, and I thought that was rather clever as well. Other voice actors also feel appropriate, and while some may have changed from their Japanese counterparts in the game, I will say, having only English access to the dialogue, I do not find the same issue that I have found in other anime, where sometimes a voice actor seems almost completely disconnected from the character as I envision them or as they are designed. In other words, I don't think there is, for those who prefer dubs or subs, really a reason to wait if you want to access it on Crunchyroll through subscription. I also think I would be remiss if I did not mention that in watching the episode earlier today, I'm very curious to see how battles and shadow encounters will play out. Boss battles as well, and of course, most of all, relationships. That's what Persona 5 is about. I know there are clear directions dictated by the show's production in who Ren will wind up with, but it is the path and all the other absent opportunities, the growth of bonds that don't lead to romance, but to budding friendships that I'm excited to see. And speaking of bonds, I do hope in playing out these connections, these relationships, we will find a little bit of something for everyone, as I know I have many different tastes, and there are many different flavors and waifus, and often different perspectives of how these relationships should play out among people and how they form as well. So I also have to ask that as we experience this series, how much down the mementos will we travel? How close to each deadline will our heroes get? What side activities will they become involved in? And how might we see these played out in the series as well? These are exciting opportunities. I want to see, will I get to see a Big Burger Challenge? Will I get to see Ren tackle that? And these are exciting possibilities that are easily played at in the game. I personally flew the palaces to allow max time to build my relationships after. And as I suspect from just seeing the percentages on the social streams, that most people did that as well. And I do hope to see nods to them and see how they might be played out in the series as well. Finally, because each episode is 24 minutes in length, and we really have yet to get through much beyond seeing the awakening of Ren and Joker's persona, I am very curious to see the dictation of pacing in each episode and the opportunities afforded for cliffhangers and introduction of characters. It's clear that Morgana is next, and the hint at the end of this first episode leaves us thirsting to see Morgana's first intro to Ryu and Ren. I know this is really my deepest foray into Persona, and as I play through most of Persona 4, and I'm making it a goal to finish 5, but I have never delved into the manga or anything beyond a cosplay opportunity leading up to this, I know I am personally looking forward to diving into Persona 5 animation. And if you are like me, somewhere between novice and knowledgeable, I do hope you'll have the same enthusiasm. If you're a novice, I hope I've sparked your interest. And finally, if you're a hardcore Persona fan, I do hope you'll remember how your journey once began and welcome the rest of us down this rabbit hole. I love your feedback, so please send it my way in the comments below, over at my Twitter at WeAre1UR2, my Gmail of the same flavor, or definitely over at my Patreon. That's where this will all be made possible for me to return every week and do these if you enjoy them. Until next time, remember, we are one, you are two.